so blessed to manage the Kindred Grace blog. Each post edifies me, even as I edit and ready it for publishing. But one of the things I really love about the Kindred Grace blog is the fact that the archives are filled with so much timeless encouragement. Each August, it's our tradition to take a month off publishing new posts and spend our time revisiting the blog archives. Here are some of our favorite posts from years gone by at Kindred Grace.
Hearts are not construction paper. This one was written by a woman named April. And posts like this are the reason that I got stuck on Kindred Grace in the first place. I liked Kindred Grace because, number one, it challenged me. And number two, there were posts that I thought I was the only one that was thinking these things until I read these posts. And then I saw that someone else not only agreed with the way that I was thinking, but they provided more proof for what I had been feeling in my heart for a while. And what I like about this post primarily is that it teaches that love multiplies. It doesn't just divide. And that giving your heart away is a redemptive thing. It's not something to be ashamed of. And that is a very redeeming prospect that I think that a lot of times we're missing out in our communities. And I think that if we learned more about it, and more about that healing grace, and more about the way that love is supposed to be, like was portrayed in this article, then I think we would be much happier and much healthier as a community. And we would be showing a lot more love to each other instead of being afraid to love.
In The Girl in the Glass Heart, Natasha writes a parable of a girl with a heart that is broken. The girl doesn't want anybody to know this, that her heart is no longer perfect. This parable really helps me in my feeling of responsibility. I have the feeling like if I make a mistake, God will be standing there with his hands in his side telling me I will need to bear the consequences. And true enough, at times I do need to bear the consequences, but God really used this post to show me how he really does turn everything into good, how he can make beauty out of brokenness, imperfection, pain and heartache, how he is so much bigger than me and my mistakes and my decisions. He is so able to heal, to turn into good and draw me to himself. Natasha's parables are always full of wisdom and written in a very approachable way.
When modesty isn't about you. This one is by Natasha Metzler. And it's one of my favorites because I like Natasha's perspective. I think it's very refreshing because she brings up personal examples from her life and because she talks about it more of a love and a respect issue rather than a legalism or a controlling issue. And I think that's a refreshing perspective.
My favorite post on Kindred Grace is called His Beauty. Gretchen wrote it about discovering that beauty is truly not skin deep. One of my favorite lines is, "Beauty cannot be defined, for beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Beauty cannot be bought, for beauty is not something we put on. Beauty cannot be earned, for beauty is not a reward." I love those lines because for the last year and a half, I guess, since Chantel wonderfully started Adorno Bell, I've been, I feel, on a personal journey of discovering what it means to be called to be ambassadors of beauty, as Trina would put it. And I love that this post reminds me that beauty is indeed something that we put on, but that we adopt so that we can further serve Christ.
What makes you beautiful? I remember reading this a couple years ago and it really redefined my thinking on security, the way that girls see their security and their beauty. Because I had been under the impression that a lot of times women and girls gain their perceptions of beauty from the media and from the culture around them. And Bailey really brought up how it's closer to home than that. It's more about the way we, as women and girls, speak to other women and girls. And how we speak about ourselves, especially. And that was breathtakingly honest and gritty and very good for me. Because I realized that I have a little girl myself. And one of these days, she's going to start listening to the way I talk about myself. And she's going to start comparing herself, because we're going to look alike, to what I'm saying about myself. And it made me clean up my language a lot and the way that I talked about myself. And the way I saw myself in my heart. Because even if you don't say those things, there are still expressions and there are still little sighs whenever we see the extra weight or the too little weight or whatever that we have. And I want something better for my daughter. And I want something better for the girls around me that I talked to.